Welcome to the KBB Review podcast. My name is Matt Baker, and if you're hearing my voice, that can only mean one of two things have happened. Either your usual host Andy Davis has been abducted by aliens, or more plausibly, entries are now open for the KBB Review Retail and Design Awards 2025. Before that, it's a huge pleasure to welcome back our awards podcast partner for 2025, Sonas Bathrooms. It's great to have their support again, as between now and the event on Thursday, April the 24th, we'll be bringing you special bonus episodes where we'll meet previous winners as well as the 2025 judges and finalists. In fact, we'll be revealing the shortlist itself in a very special episode of this podcast just before Christmas. So a massive thank you to Sonas Bathrooms, as it wouldn't be possible without them. They actually launched in the UK a couple of years ago after years of success in their native island, and since then have gone from strength to strength. You can find out everything you need to know about them at sonasbathrooms.com, and I'll make sure that link is in the episode description. So let's get down to business. After a real celebratory night in Birmingham back in March, we're now ready to kick off the 2025 season right here. Entries have opened for the biggest awards in the UK and Ireland kitchen and bathroom sector, and will close at 5 p.m. on Thursday, November the 14th, 2024. No extensions. And while the 2024 awards celebrated its 30th year anniversary, we've decided to make next year just as special with a very exciting venue. As many of you will know, the alternate years to KBB Birmingham, we host the event in different towns and cities around the country. And anyone who is in Liverpool, Cardiff or Manchester will know that we like to find big, impressive, original venues packed with history and character. And for 2025, we've scored one of the country's most iconic landmarks, the Blackpool Tower Ballroom. We'll be there on the famous ballroom floor, yes, the same one you've seen on TV, which may give you a clue to the theme, but more on that venue later in the year. Today, I'm here to talk to you about what makes an award-winning entry. No, I'm not talking about our Olympic divers. I'm talking about your submission into the specific categories featured at the KBB Review Retail and Design Awards. I'm going to break down all the important stuff you need to know. What's it all about? What are the categories? How the judging works? And most importantly, top tips for putting together the perfect awards entry. So to do this, I've enlisted the help of someone who knows these awards inside out and back to front. So, pending that alien invasion, I'd like to welcome KBB Review's very own Andy Davis. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Matt. Alien invasions, kidnaps, that would actually make these awards even better, wouldn't it, if we could do that right in the middle of them?
Well, every year we have to make it bigger and better, so that would be one way of doing that.
Intergalactic. I like the sound of that.
Very much so.
Yeah, especially if I was also in my Olympic divers Speedos.
Yeah, but let's not create that image for
this. This is why everyone's very glad this is audio.
So the awards, they do seem to be getting bigger and more interesting year on year. Give us a quick intro to the event for people who might be looking to enter.
Well, as you said, this is our 31st year of these awards, which is actually quite frightening, isn't it? And I've done, I think, the last 15 or something of them. So that just shows how old I am, which is all the more reason why you don't want to see me in Speedos. But, look, it's very basic. It is the Retail and Design Awards for the kitchen and bathroom retail industry in the UK and Ireland. So who is eligible to enter? Well, it's designers, retailers, showrooms, businesses that have just opened, newcomers. We've got a category for installers, we've got a category for suppliers. So there's something in it for everyone. And if we dig into the details of it a little bit as we go along, the main thing that people need to know at this stage is that it's completely free to enter. It always has been. It's really important to us that we keep this free and as open to everybody as possible. And actually, if you get shortlisted as one of the finalists, you actually get 2 free tickets to come to the event itself as well in Blackpool, as you say. So that's also really important. So you've literally got nothing to lose. All the information you need to know about the categories, about entering, about closing dates, about everything, every element of this, it's all on the website, kbbreview.com/awards. kbbreview.com/awards. And obviously we'll put that link in the episode description here as well.
So let's look at some of these categories in more detail, and you can see which ones are right for you. Let's start with the design categories. We have 3 for kitchen and 3 for bathroom, and they're divided up by project cost. So we have Kitchen Designer of the Year, project cost up to £30,000. Then we have project cost £30,000 to £50,000, and then project cost over £50,000. For Bathroom Designer of the Year, we have project cost up to £15,000, then £15,000 to £30,000, and finally, project cost over £30,000. It's all very straightforward. Now, Andy, we're asked this a lot. What do we mean by project cost?
Yeah, that's the question everyone always wants to know. And look, we have to find ways to divide up the awards categories by the money paid. That's the only really way to do it. And so we have to define project cost as price paid to you by your client. Now, there's a lot of variables in that project cost, obviously, and we've looked to have more strict definitions than that, but we get hundreds and hundreds of categories. So on the entry form, you have to declare what is and isn't included in that project cost. So, for example, installation, VAT, the client sourced their own appliances, the tiles came from eBay, whatever it is, if it's a significant cost that isn't included, you say so on the form. Obviously, that means you're not necessarily comparing like with like all the time, but the judges are professional designers too, right? So they understand all these nuances and they take them into account in their deliberations. So you can have 2 bathrooms, for example, which both have a project cost of £24,999, but one includes installation and one doesn't. So that's obviously a big gap, but that's why they're called judges. You know, they have to make an informed judgment. This isn't an audit. So we will take any numbers you give us at face value. But trust me, I've done this for years. There is zero advantage to be had in manipulating the numbers to push yourself into one category or another, not least of which is judges spot that a mile away, believe me. We get as many entries in each category as each other, so there's literally no advantage to that. So be honest, be straight up, say what's included and what isn't, and I promise you're halfway to getting a successful entry. So look, that's the design categories, and they are open to any designers of kitchens and bathrooms in the UK. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, so just more on that then. What about the restrictions and eligibility?
So the only real restrictions is that the designs must be real projects in real homes. So what that means is we rule out things like showroom displays or concept-only designs, renders. They've got to be real kitchens and real bathrooms, in other words. And the most important restriction, and I really, Matt, I cannot stress this enough to you, trust me, you can only enter each design category once. Right? So individuals can enter all 6 design categories if they want to, but they can't submit multiple entries in each category. If you think about it, somebody could just enter every single kitchen they've done that year and it would be a total nightmare. So individuals can only enter each design category once. However, different designers from the same company can enter the same category. So if me and you both worked for Matt Baker Kitchens, we could both enter the same category. But each individual person can only enter each category once. Please take note of that, because I'll be the one phoning you up the day after the closing date going, you've entered 3 kitchens in the same category, choose your favourite, and you'll have wasted your time. So there we go. Individuals can only enter each category once.
That's great. So pick your best work and go with it. So there you go then. If you're thinking of entering the design category, we wish you the very best of luck. Once again, you can enter at kbbreview.com/awards. You love the design categories as well though, don't you, Andy?
I do, because they're the ones that really show development. They're the ones that show trends. They're the ones that show just fantastic work. And one of the important things to get across in the design categories is aesthetics is only one of the criteria. The judges are also looking at value for money. They're looking at problem solving. They're looking at how well they've met the client's brief. There's lots of them, and all the information is on the website. So the prettiest kitchen or the prettiest bathroom doesn't always win the design category, or the most photogenic kitchen or bathroom doesn't always win for that very reason. So make sure you fill those details in. Make sure the judges really understand what it took to get from beginning to the end of that project.
So on to some of our other categories. The Installation Company of the Year, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. The important bit to note is that it's open to installation companies, obviously, but it's also open to retailers with an installation arm of the business, which widens the net a little bit, I think, for those of you that are interested. The Rising Star of the Year award tends to be a lot of people's favourite. This is all about finding the up-and-coming people working in the KBB retail business who are making waves in the early part of their career, I'd say. Tell us more about that, Andy.
Yeah, and anyone who's been following this podcast will have already heard some of our Rising Star finalists in special episodes we've got going for that. I mean, these are the ones to watch. These are the people that are going to come through, the ones with the new ideas, the stars who are rising. That is a definition of rising star, Matt, as you might notice. The only restrictions on that is they have to be currently employed by a retailer. And as always, we have to make a definition. So we're defining that as a company that sells direct to the consumer. And they must be under 30 years of age on March the 4th, 2025. Other than that, they can perform any job role within your business. And we really want to encourage lots of job roles to come through on this, I think, because obviously we see lots of designers or showroom managers and that kind of thing, which is great. But it'd be great to see, admin, finance, installation, anything like that. As long as they're a star, we don't mind. It's working slightly differently this year. We're actually highlighting the finalists of the Rising Star of the Year between August, you've probably already seen some, and March. And those monthly finalists will go through to become the shortlist for the overall winner, which will be revealed in Blackpool in April. The other important thing to note is that you can enter people. If you are retail, you want to enter one of your staff, that's fantastic. But you can also enter yourself if you want to. And in fact, last year's winner was someone who entered themselves. So if you think you deserve it or you know someone who deserves it, anyone can enter.
Yep, and you can do that in the same way as the other categories. You can push your submission through kbbreview.com/awards. Moving on, we're also looking at the achievements of key people in the business in the supplier team of the year. So this is not for retailers, it's for companies supplying KBB retail businesses with products or services, and it's looking for the best team of people within that business and how they support their retailers. Andy, what can you tell us about this team award and its function?
Well, it's for suppliers, this one, but I think it's really important to acknowledge the people that help retailers go about their day-to-day business, the suppliers and the teams, the people they contact on the phone, the email and everything else. So the basic rules of this one are it has to be a team that performs a specific task within the company. So sales, marketing, logistics, customer service, warehouse, technical support, the kind of thing. In other words, you can't just enter the entire company, you've got to pick a team within it. But it's very much a people award, this one, which I think is what makes it such an important one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just a quick mention about the Special Achievement Award. We do not accept submissions for this one. The award goes to individuals who have made significant contributions to the KBB industry and is chosen by our editorial team here at KBB Review. So it's definitely worth looking out for that one on the night. And just another reminder, because we've not reminded you enough, that there are more details about the awards can be found at kbbreview.com/awards.
Can I nominate myself for the Special Achievement Award, Matt?
I don't know. You call the shots. Would that go down well in the KBB industry, Andy?
No, I think someone else would have to nominate me, Matt, he says, hint, hint.
Okay. So now on to the retail business categories of the awards. These are Retailer of the Year, New Retailer of the Year, and Showroom of the Year. And there are both kitchen and bathroom versions of each, so there's 6 in total. Andy, what do we mean by new in these categories?
Well, you know what? Starting up a new business or a new venture is just incredibly brave. And it is the future of the market. We all like to see brand new businesses opening and thriving. It's a big part of what makes this industry so interesting, I think. So, yes, we have the new kitchen retailer of the year and the new bathroom retailer of the year. And the eligibility there is they are new businesses that have opened up since November the 16th, 2023. The important bit here is that, yes, it's for brand new businesses, obviously, but it's also about significant new additions to an existing business. So, for example, you're a kitchen retailer that's opened up a bathroom showroom, that kind of thing.
Yes, so that's retailers as a business. And then what about the showrooms?
Well, the showroom awards are basically about showrooms, which is obvious, isn't it? But what I mean by that is it's solely about the showroom design and the layout, the customer journey through the store, the products you've chosen, the design of the whole thing, and just how it all looks and feels for that customer walking through the door the first time. So it's not about how successful you are as a retailer, it's about how successful your showroom is. So if you're really proud of the space or you've just updated it or changed it completely, this is the one for you.
Yeah. And now on to some other big awards. Kitchen Retailer of the Year and Bathroom Retailer of the Year. These are the awards for the whole business, the best all-round retailers in the UK and Ireland. Now, this may seem quite confusing and it's a bit vast given the nature of judging businesses as a whole, but our criteria and the judging in the retail business categories are all about addressing what you do with what you've got in the market in which you operate. So it isn't just about those who spend lots of money, who makes lots of money, who's got the biggest showroom or even the most affluent clientele. It's really important to make that point, isn't it, Andy?
Yeah, and it's something we very specifically brief the judges on. These aren't awards for who's making the most money with the biggest place. These really are designed that any retailer can take home these prizes, and actually often small high street retailers are the ones who win because they just do a fantastic job. And that's really what we're looking for, is retailers who do a fantastic job. So we work really hard to make sure that those small high street retailers have as much a chance of winning as big multi-million pound showrooms. Size isn't a factor here. It's about just being a great retailer. It's about attitude. It's about creative ideas. It's about reputation. It's about financial management, people management, personal touches. And it's an all-round love and passion for the job. And none of those things are dependent on the square footage of the showroom. It's also worth pointing out, of course, that in times when the market is really, really difficult and hard, which it is at the moment, a successful retailer isn't necessarily making money. A successful retailer is managing problems, is managing a difficult market in a way that means they're surviving and they just keep going. And how they've done that, the creative ideas and the initiatives that they put forward to make that happen, well, that could make you a retailer of the year without question.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I'm really interested to find who will win this award next year. But again, Andy, where can we find out about the awards?
Should we mention it again, Matt? It's kbbreview.com/awards.
Let's now look at how to enter the KBB Review Retail and Design Awards. It's actually very easy. Where do people start, Andy?
So if you go to, I don't know whether I've mentioned this at all, Matt, kbbreview.com/awards, you can find all the details there for each category. You can download all the details as a PDF so you can see what they're all about. It also has a copy of all the questions you're going to get asked on the entry form. So you can have a good look at it all before you actually have to do anything. There's no scary surprises for you. And then when you're ready, you click on the enter button on the website, follow all the instructions. I promise you it's really simple. I can do it. It's an entirely online entry process, so you can start it, save it, come back to it later, add bits, take bits away. You can do all that right up until the moment you hit the submit button. And of course, it's totally free, so you might as well do it. You've got literally nothing to lose.
So, we've explained what the categories are and how to enter, but how are the winners chosen? Now, Andy, we believe our judging process is the most comprehensive in this sector because we have 5 panels of expert judges and they all operate independently of each other. There's a kitchen design panel, bathroom design panel, kitchen business panel, bathroom business panel, and also our own editorial panel. How does this all work?
Look, the whole point of the judging process is, as much as we all love the party and as much as we all love the night out, and it's great, we have to make these awards ones worth winning. We have to make people proud to pick up that trophy. We want to know that when they've won it, they feel that they've earned it. That's the important thing. So, in the design categories, all the entries come in and they are handed off to our judges. They score each entry against the criteria individually. They don't see each other while they're doing that. They do it all independently with each other. And then that all comes through to me and we add up all the scores. And the top 4 in each category are the finalists. It's as simple as that. Whoever scores the most gets to be a finalist. Then we get the judging panels together in person, and each of those finalists, 4 in each category, has 15 minutes to present their projects to the panel in person and answer any questions. That's so important. I can't tell you how important that stage is. Just when you think you know who the winner's going to be, that presentation happens and all the minds are changed. Hearing designers talk about their projects, giving judges the chance to really ask questions to those designers makes such a massive difference. They're all professionals, they're all peers, and no matter how much you thought it through in that entry form, there's always something you forgot to include.
Just on that, though, you don't have to be great at presenting, right?
Yeah, good point. It's really important this. It is not a presentation competition. You're not being judged on the presentation. It is purely a chance for the judges to talk to you about it. How well you present it is not a factor in the judging. It's just all about getting that little bit of extra information.
And then what about the business categories?
So the business categories, we score it all the same way. All the entries come in, they're given off to the judges score them against the criteria, and then we add it all up, and the top 4 in each category become the finalists, right? So that's all done the same way. But the difference in the business categories is the judges then go on the road. Judges will go out and visit in person every single finalist. They'll see the business, they'll see the showroom, they'll quiz the entrant about everything they've done. And when they come back off all these trips and all these visits, they choose who the winner is. Again, like the design categories, that face-to-face element is so important. How can you judge a business without actually walking through the front door? It's the only way to do it as far as I'm concerned. It really does work. And I've seen the top scorer shift right down to the bottom because of that final stage in business and retail every single time. And I've seen people with the lowest scores out of the 4 finalists come through as the winner for the same reason. Anything can happen. This is the judges' chance to see businesses for themselves, to gauge the passion and to gauge the ideas and to gauge the creativity of these businesses. And what's amazing is they travel all over the country, but the judges absolutely love it as well.
So there you go. There's a little peek behind the curtain there of the judging. Now, Andy, in the last 5 minutes, have you forgot where people can find out about the awards?
Do you mean kbbreview.com/awards, Matt?
I do. Very good. Now, you've tuned in today because you want to know what makes the perfect awards entry and to give yourself the best possible chance of winning. So we'll leave you hanging no more. So Andy, I'm going to sort of hand over to you on this because I want you to reveal your top tips.
Well, I've been doing this a long time, as I said right at the top, and I have seen thousands and thousands of entries. I've sat through dozens of judging sessions. So while I'm not a designer, Matt, and while I'm not a retailer, trust me when I say these are genuine tips on how to put entries together, right? First of all, number 1, read the instructions and do everything the instructions say. I know that sounds daft, but trust me, you won't believe how many people fall at that hurdle. Read the instructions and follow them. Right, that's number 1. Number 2 is before you start writing anything, really think about what information you want to get across. Don't make it up as you go along. Really think about what points you want to make and how you want to make them. What do you want judges to really know about you? Sketch it out, scribble it out in the back of an envelope first, and then sit down and write it. That's my tip. The third one is actually a design category specific one. And if anything, if I will go to the grave saying this over and over again, Matt, I promise you, and I'm going to get t-shirts made and everything. Make sure you send us the floor plans of the design. Send us the floor plan to the design, Matt. That's all I'm asking in life. I don't have any other needs or wants other than to tell people to send the floor plans in as well.
We can get t-shirts, I reckon.
I think we need to. Judges are professional designers. I promise you, the first thing they look at is the floor plan. They look at the plans before they look at any photographs. That's how they understand the space that you're designing. Photographs are clearly incredibly important, right? But photographers, they tend to love close-ups of taps. But that doesn't really actually tell you anything about the design of the room. So you have to make sure you include wide-shot photographs that show off the whole project or show off any interesting details that you want to talk about. But please, 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 include the floor plan, Matt. Actually, equally on that point, it's not a photography competition either. Lots of people do have professional photography when it comes to projects, and I totally get that, but it is not a photography competition. You won't be judged on how good the photos are. What we need photos to do is tell the judges all about the project. It's as simple as that.
Can you do videos as well, does it?
You can do videos as well, but you need to keep them short. If you make them clips, keep them nice and short. We love videos too. In fact, one designer one year did her 15-minute Zoom presentation from the bathroom that she designed. So she had the laptop propped up on the basin and she was sat on the toilet.
Genius.
Yeah. Okay, the next tip is really explain what is or isn't included in the project cost. Take out any ambiguity for any significant cost. It's okay. Judges are designers. They understand how it works. But the moment you leave them asking a question going, well, we've got an awful lot of currying in there for that $5,000 kitchen, then that ambiguity won't help you. So include what is or isn't in the project cost. We all love lovely photographs. We all love beautiful kitchens. We all love beautiful bathrooms. But as I keep saying, the judges are professional designers. And one of the things they have to look for is the really horrible bits that you've managed to sort out. They want to know what problems are in there. How have you sorted out that horrible beam or that horrible corner or whatever it might be? It could be that you had a really horrible client who was just really hard to deal with, but you somehow managed to get them along the way. That is what professional design is all about. So tell the full story. Don't just talk about how brilliant it is. Talk about what went wrong, talk about the decisions you had to make, talk about the problems you had to solve. Tell the story. In the business categories, this is really important. I think you have to be really specific and factual in your detail. Okay, so you have to, don't just say something's amazing, you have to say why it's amazing and what it was before it was amazing. How are you judging it? How are you measuring whether something was successful or not? And I think sometimes in the business categories, people think, oh my God, I haven't written an essay since school. This is going to be a nightmare. Believe me, judges don't want to read essays. They really don't. They've got hundreds of these things to get through. Use bullet points. Use short sentences. It's not a writing competition. Just decide the information you want to get across. But if you say sales are up, by how much? If you say the showroom is great, well, how much does that increase footfall? It's proving the things that you're trying to say. And if you want things to only be for judges' eyes, just say so, and we won't go anywhere near it. And the final tip is, when you look at the website, when you look at all the details on the categories, we tell you what the criteria are. Use them as your guide for writing the entry. Make sure you've answered those criteria when you get that information across. And like I say, we don't need school essays. We just need points, bullets, short sentences, but get the information across.
Well, there you go then, Andy. You've persuaded me to enter, and I'm ineligible. But more importantly, I hope you've all got enough from this to persuade you to give it a go. You really have nothing to lose, as Andy says. There's so many incredible designers out there. We know that. And there's so many amazing businesses out there. So if you think you've done a good job, and the chances are others will too. So go to our new favourite web address, which is kbbreview.com/awards to find out more. And don't forget that entries close at 5 p.m. on Thursday, November the 14th. And again, there are no extensions.
Always no extensions. And people don't believe me. Every year, mate, they always go, can I have it? No, you can't. There's no extensions. What's the point of giving a closing date if you're then going to move it? What's the point?
Yeah, we just don't have the time, to be honest with you. The awards event itself will take place on April the 24th next year at, as I said, the iconic Blackpool Tower Ballroom. Organisation is well underway, so if you want to come to the awards and you want to book your seats or tables, then you can just go to the same web address, kbbreview.com/awards. So to end, a huge thank you to our 2025 awards podcast partners, Sonas Bathrooms, for all your support. Look out for our upcoming bonus episodes as we follow the entries, judging and planning all the way through to the event itself. And one last time, Andy, all the information you need to know is at
kbbreview.com/awards.
Thank you, Andy, and for your advice. Thanks for joining us, and good luck, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Good luck, everyone.